Welcome to Off the Post, powered by Coverall Exteriors. I'm Russ Cohen. We've got Anthony Mingione. And how are you?
I'm doing okay, Russ. How are you today?
Good. I have an exciting food take, so I'm going to make sure we get that
Oh,
in.
October 1st. God knows what this one could
We
be.
have Michael Cello. Mike, how are you?
Yeah, I was booking a guest for later in the month, and I said, yeah, by that time, Russ will be done with his pumpkin spice rants.
Maybe. We'll see. It might not, but that's not the take for this week. The take for this week we'll be talking about the Luke Hughes contract. So, and here is my thought process. My thought process is, like, we all know they're paying him on what they think he's going to be in the future, because nobody pays a 40-something point defenseman $9 million a year. Nobody. So, based on that, how close do I align what I think they think he is, which is probably like a 65-point defenseman, and I fall short of that. I don't know if he's ever going to get more than 60. So I look at Luke Hughes and say, yeah, you got to reel in the turnovers. You got to do 60 points. You got to be double-digit goals. Otherwise, $9 million is going to look like one of the worst contracts for a young defenseman in the league if he doesn't hit those numbers.
That's the risk that they're taking. But I think at the same time, I do think we have to look at it from, kind of a bit of a broader view in this case, that if you do a bridge deal with him and he does explode, you're going to be paying that much more for him. You also, if you're the Devils, have to have an idea of your budget and how you're going to be doing things. And if they've got ambitions of uniting the brothers together.
Oh, no.
This was, in that respect, a smart move in that respect, because at least you have cost certainty with one of them at the very least. So in that respect, Russ, and I know you want to isolate this to just
no, I'm going to go
even
Hughes. With your line of thinking.
Yeah,
if I sign him to a bridge deal, all those other guys' contracts will all be decided by then. He would have no leverage. He would be the third of the brothers to come in, and I'd be able to get him cheaper.
Yeah, but at the same time, if this is sort of a situation where they're trying to get this all done, you want to play nice in getting them all together.
Yeah, but you just paid the least of the brothers the most.
Well, we'll see as the cap goes up over time. I agree. He's not going to be that over the long haul. He won't be the one you pay that.
No, but that's
For now, that's true. They're taking again. This is a calculated risk. It's interesting how we take a look at two of these contracts now that played late into camp, and it actually played in the player's favor, not in the team's favor, which is fascinating in that respect.
Well, what this tells you is, Jonathan Kovacevic, who is injured right now with a knee injury, and they're almost $4 million over the cap. He's a $4 million cap hit. He's going on LTIR.
For sure.
Worry about the salary cap later in the season when somebody else is hurt.
Right.
Well, my issue here, and we heard the Dougie Hamilton rumors during the summer. Now you can put those on steroids, because now I think what you're going to see is probably Dougie Hamilton, if not by the deadline, then maybe next summer, getting traded. And I don't know if he has a no move or limited no trade. He's got a no move. So he'll have to sign off on that. And he's got an injury history. So
hopefully he skis.
Okay.
Utah.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay. But I mean, there's a couple mountain areas, Russ, we could have.
I know. That's why I
mean, if you're making it an open-ended question, saying maybe Colorado,
no. I decided to take away the mountainous cavern I left out there, and
I don't think he's going to get hurt at a museum. But I mean,
that's not nice.
I know, but I don't understand this. I mean, I get for what Anthony said in terms of you want to get all the brothers together, and and this was you could have signed him to a bridge deal, and then he would have come up up for a contract at the same time that Quinn Hughes did if he went a 2-year bridge deal. Mm-hmm. Did they not want that to happen? I mean, okay, well, you could have signed him. You could have, you had protection there. And if there's a chance that the brothers were going to get together, do you really think he was going to sign an offer sheet to go someplace else?
No.
So I don't know. I mean, we're going to talk about Kaprizov in a second. The way the salaries are blowing up.
Spoil it, Mike.
Yeah, the way that the salaries are blowing up, if Luke Hughes is getting $9 million, what's Cale Makar getting?
Oh, absolutely. Whatever Cale Makar is going to be getting, it's going to be absolutely just insane. And again, this is not surprising with, if you give a general manager more space, they're gonna go to their ownership and say, let's take advantage of it, which is why you're not going to see as much movement as you would hope. And that's one of the reasons why I think when we get to 2026, for as ballyhooed as this free agent class might be going forward, it may not be as good as we thought it was going to be. It's not going to be, because teams are just going to be like, we can get our guys signed.
Right, because they have the money.
So you need to build from within, really.
Here's what I would say about Makar. I think he'll get around 18, because when I dug into Makar's numbers, like Luke Hughes had, I think, 86 giveaways, which always kind of bugs me a little high. Makar had 113, but what's the difference? He had 92 points. So if you have 92 points, I don't care if you have 113
and
giveaways.
And again, a puck. What's the adage? A puck moving defenseman is going to turn over the puck.
Yes,
that's just the nature of the beast, and you compensate for that with the point totals.
Correct.
Absolutely agree with you on that, Russ. And when I look at it, when it comes to it, but again, Luke Hughes pale. I mean, we're talking about someone who's in a completely different stratosphere, and you accept those numbers because you know what you're getting.
So now I'm going to flip it, and we'll do our Flyers segment. So here comes Jamie Drysdale, and let's say he touches on 40 points this year. Now, he can't say, give me $9 million, Flyers, but he can now say, give me like 7. And if I'm the Flyers, I'm like sweating. I don't know if I want to pay Jamie Drysdale.
I mean, it's the one good thing that they were able to get Cam York under a long-term contract. That now looks very prescient on the part of Danny Briere. They're going to be in an interesting spot when it comes to with Jamie Drysdale, because, again, I think the guy who's in Lehigh Valley is better in many ways, Emil Andre, than Jamie Drysdale is.
I think so too.
But the areas that I would like Jamie Drysdale to be really good at.
Right.
So the Flyers are going to be in a very interesting spot with Jamie if he does not emerge. And if he gets those 40 points, is the defense improved enough to justify it in that case? Because if you're in the 40-point range, do they consider $7 million if they see enough growth? I feel like with Jamie, in order to get to that number, I need more than that this year. I just do.
I feel like that's fair.
More to get up to that number, but we know puck moving defensemen are always going to be better. But he better be better in his own zone. He better not be a minus 30 or minus 20.
Right.
For me to justify it. Otherwise, I figure out a way to move him.
Well, not only puck moving defenseman, but right shot puck moving defenseman.
Yeah,
and that's
and the thing is with Philly with that trade as well is just, and Mike, not to interrupt, but it's just I think there's always going to be the pressure of we traded Cutter Gauthier.
I know, but at some point,
so therefore we have to. If Jamie shows that he's young and beginning to emerge, will they give him a contract at that number? They might, but then they have to look at themselves long term in terms of how much they're handcuffing themselves.
But if you're not sure, and he has a 40-point season, he's an RFA with ARB rights. You go to ARB, you sign him to a year deal.
You can do that. Absolutely. You can absolutely do that. My biggest, again, when it comes to Philly and that, I'm of the opinion here with Emil Andre is just, I honestly and truly think even at this point, I think he's better overall. It's just Philly is loath to have 3 defensemen like York, Drysdale, and Andre on the same blue line.
Well, meaning size wise, not ability wise.
From a size perspective. Right. But again, I look at Andre's built Andre to me is built like a spark plug. Built like a he's squat. He's got a good.
But if he was 6'1", we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
It's a good question from Cat Media in this case. Is he a power play 1 quarterback? He can be. He's got the ability.
He has the passing ability.
Yeah, the passing ability.
We don't know if he has the shot.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're triggering things and depending on how you want to work things from the point, he's going to get that ride this year. I don't think there's any question that Drysdale's going to get that ride on that top power play unit. So right now, yeah, he is.
Okay. So now we'll talk about the Kaprizov contract. And look, people have texted me, this is crazy. And I get all kinds of stuff. At the end of the day, though, My answer to them is, Matt Boldy's their next best player. After that, there's a drop off. You can't lose this player because he was having an MVP season last year, and he's the reason you're going to make the playoffs or not make the playoffs. And so, hold on, Mike. And so, at the end of the day, by losing a player like that would set you back to the point where you would struggle to make the playoffs. And that's not good for, the franchise or everything. So I think the owner just stepped up and said, okay, we're going to have to do this.
He was having an MVP season and he got hurt.
I know.
Yeah, these things that a player can help, Michael.
And that's the problem here.
The Hurt Police has joined the show now. Here we go.
But see, this is the issue. It's like, okay, when you get a player and you're paying them $17 million, and I can say this about somebody like Austin Matthews too. If it's a franchise player, you're expecting that player to be durable, to play every night or almost every night, and he's been hurt a couple times. So it's like, I mean, that's
take that risk with a player of that talent. Who, again, as Russ said, and as we've discussed, leading up to this contract being signed for the past several weeks, he is their Ovechkin. At the end of the day, he is the guy that if Minnesota is going to be a cup contender, you point to Kirill Kaprizov and say he's the guy who's going to get you there.
Yeah. Well, the one good thing about Minnesota right now is you've got Boldy signed up on a long-term contract. You've got Joel Eriksson signed on a long-term contract. You've locked up Brock Faber. So you've got most of your core, but you've gone right from being in cap jail when it came to Parise and Suter to going right back into cap jail with Kaprizov. Now,
that's why I put this on the owner, Mike, because I know Bill Guerin a little bit, just from the sense that I have a feeling he wouldn't have gone this high, and I have a feeling the owner was like, do what you got to do.
$1 million.
But what I always say about any general manager in this case, your responsibility is to put the best roster out there based on the amount of money that the owner is willing to give.
Correct.
It's not about all about the cap. It's about what the owner, how much pain the owner's, what financial pain the owner is willing to endure. And in this case, when you look at the talent of the player,
maybe Jordan Leopold can't get a fifth car now. Maybe he has to stick at 4.
It'll be okay. He'll be. I mean, Craig Leopold.
Leopold. Sorry,
Jordan Leopold.
Probably didn't make that much.
Yeah, I was going to say right. I think we're correct franchise, just not the right person.
Yeah, and
it was the right franchise, but Craig, maybe he can't get a fifth car now.
And what they're going to have to hope for is Zeev Bouillon on his entry level contract to hit it big. They're going to have to hope for Danila Yurov to be a young star at age 21 or 22. That's a lot of hope. And that, because you're not going to have a lot of flexibility to be able to make other moves.
True.
No, it's true. The flexibility there. But I would also say, again, I'd still like if I'm setting myself up as a franchise and you've got the core, the middle of the core basically locked in, and you've got those kind of promising players on the come, as a general manager, I feel pretty good about that. And that's all you can kind of do in this circumstance. Injuries happen. These are not things that you can these are things that are going to happen, Michael.
So now we move on to the Leafs, and what I noticed, Mike, in their cuts is some famous last names. Actually, there were like 3, and not so famous, but the players who have fathers.
They are of note. They are of note.
They're of note.
Take note of them right
played,
now.
Maybe mothers or aunts, actually aunt that played, things like that, brothers that play, and they all got cut. So what's your feeling?
Well, I mean, Alex Nylander was on an AHL contract, so he wasn't going to make the team. Who else are we talking about here?
John Sims has a son who got
Landon,
and Rayon.
He's on an AHL contract as well.
And Rayon probably is too, but they were good last names to look at.
Yeah. No, I mean, there have been no surprises so far with the Leafs. I mean, the decisions that'll be curious are going to happen after the weekend when they cut down to 23, and you've got this block of 5 forwards that they can only keep 2 of them. And knowing Craig Berube, he's going to keep Michael Pezzetta, even though Michael Pezzetta of the 5 is the least talented of them all.
I mean, it's not even close.
Right. I mean, it's like, but he'll probably keep him because, when they play Montreal, he's going to want to run somebody through the board.
Yeah, he'll play him a good 8 minutes that game.
Exactly. He's the Ryan Reeves times 2.
Yeah.
But then you're gonna have to choose. Steven Lorenz is going to be on the 4th line.
Yep.
The 4th line center is going to be Scott Lawton. Who's going to be that right winger? If it's me, I would play Kalle Järnkrok on the 4th line, and I would send Easton Cowan down to the Marlies. Are they going to do that? What they might do. See, the thing is, even if you want to give the kid a chance and say, okay, he made the club, you're doing that at the risk of losing a veteran player who is useful, like a Järnkrok, as a penalty killer. I mean, I don't think they care whether David Kampf gets claimed or not. In fact, that probably would.
I don't know. I mean, the funny thing is, I only know what they think about David Kampf through you, and you haven't thought anything of him since the summer because you thought he was going to be gone. So I don't know what I should.
Are you wearing? You put on the mic and Buffalo goggles.
I don't know how to feel about him, Anthony. I don't know what to feel.
It's not me. It's the fact that Craig Berube thinks that. But and I think everybody
there.
Right, but I think the reason is because they were trying to trade him and get something for him, or trade him and get somebody to take his $2.4 million contract, and they couldn't convince anybody to do that. Now, I don't know if there's an injury for somebody at center and he's a good checker and he's a 3rd, 4th line guy, maybe they can convince somebody to take him for a 5th round pick. But what they're going to do is probably, and maybe the game is up if they place him on waivers, but like the Connor Ingram situation that happened in Utah, they placed him on waivers, and then less than a week later, actually 2 or 3 days later, they ended up trading him, and they retained. Now, does Toronto want to retain salary on Kampf? No, because they have to retain it for 2 years. So if they can, they may have to take a contract back, but I think they're gonna waive him. I think they're gonna waive. They're probably going to trade Nick Robertson before, and I think they can get something from Nick Robertson. The report, our mutual friend Cam Robinson was reporting that San Jose is interested in him. And
what do you think you're getting? You're getting like a 4th round pick.
Well, it's better than nothing, Russ. You might lose them. You might lose them on waivers for nothing.
Got to take them lottery tickets, Russell. Come on, better
than
getting
nothing. No. You know what? In this case, I could count on Nick Robertson in the Leafs lineup for about 13 goals.
I know.
I'm not trading that for a 4th round pick because the coach just wants to have big players. Somebody needs to step in and do something about it because Robertson can play this game, but he's not the biggest guy.
So you're going to usurp the coach?
Well,
yes.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to.
The decision, and I know what I would do. The decision is: do you carry 13-7-2? Or 14-7-2 or 13-8-2. And if they carry 8 defensemen, that means that they're keeping Philippe Myers up. And if they keep Philippe, now I think Philippe Myers has cleared waivers before. I think he'll clear
him again.
And then you keep Robertson, and maybe you hold on to him for a couple of weeks. And if a team out there needs scoring, then maybe they do that. But one of those 3, Järnkrok, Robertson, or Kampf, is either going to get traded or waived. And that's what Brad Treliving is going to have to navigate over the next 3 or 4 days.
Right, Mike. So much like my New York Jets, the Buffalo Sabres have the same amount of wins this season so far because the regular season hasn't started. But I've seen articles that say the expectations are low. I don't know. Could they get any lower than they are right now? That's the question.
How low can you go? No, I mean, okay. I've seen some people out there, the dark horse team, the team that nobody's talking about is the Buffalo Sabres. Yeah, there's a reason for that.
There's a reason.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. It's like, again, I'm from Missouri. Show me. It's like I say the same thing that I say with the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's like, okay, when the real season starts in April, show me. With the Buffalo Sabres, the real season starts now because they have to go through 82 games to see if they can make the playoffs for the first time in 15 years.
I'm just imagining you from Missouri, Mike. Like if you were on Ozark, Bateman would have killed you. I think you would have.
Yeah, but I mean, there are so many question marks right now. I mean, okay, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen is starting tonight against Pittsburgh. He has missed all of camp. He's practiced through, I think, the last 3-4 practices. So they're going to give him some game work. They may play him the full game. They may play him a couple periods. Defensively, Matthias Samuelsson is injured. Shock. Bowen Byram was injured, but he's back. He's practicing today. Owen Power, all of a sudden, he tweaked something, but they think it's nothing serious. They've kept Radim Murtka around, but they're probably going to send him back.
They have to send him back.
Yeah, I mean, I would, Zach Benson missed practice today. Yuri Kulik missed some. Now, you could say they're being very careful and they need everybody.
I mean, is there a Thursday night football game in Buffalo? Like, why are they all missing practice?
You got me. Maybe there's some good. Maybe there's some good wings at Lenova. But I'll just
not Barbell. Okay.
No, Barbell's good, but I'm saying Lenova.
All right, no, good pull by you.
Yeah, it's an Italian thing. But no, I look at the Sabres right now, and they start the regular season with 6 home games in their first 8. And if they're not 4-2 in those first 6 home games, people will stop coming. People, I don't like, they'll show up for the beginning of the regular season. But if they are the same old Sabres, if there's no reason for excitement, then they won't show up.
They'll show up for the giveaways, Mike.
Yeah, they'll show up for the bobblehead. And this is a Bills town right now, and it's like people will wake up and say, okay, it's Sabres season after the Bills have either. Well, I'm not going to say win this.
Come on, Michael!
Saying it.
No, I'm not going to, because I'm not going to jinx it. But after
I got a text from Joe Ferguson. Should I read it or no?
Yeah, I'd be surprised, because he's had so many concussions. He probably doesn't even know who he is. But yeah, no, I mean, there are a lot of things right now. And again, the thing that I really scratch my head about is, they lose JJ Peterka. They trade him for Josh Doan and Michael Kesselring. Josh Doan is on the third line right now. They have hopes that he can score, 12, 15 goals on the third line. But they're really hoping Zach Benson steps up, because he's playing top line minutes, that Jack Quinn stays healthy and scores over 20 goals, and that Josh Norris stays healthy. That's a lot of ifs. That's a lot of hopes. And, if you look at what's going on in the preseason, there's been a lot of injuries already. So it's like, it's not a good early sign there.
So breaking news. I mean, it's not this minute breaking, but Evgeny Kuznetsov signed back in the KHL with Metalurg. So he's gone.
Well, what was he down to? What were the 2 teams we were in discussion? It was
Washington. No, it was Toronto and Florida.
Toronto and Florida.
That source in the K.
And again, what do we say about, what roles he play in the NHL? You're going to put him on fourth line center. You trust him defensively? No. I honestly didn't think. I really was dubious on his return. I really was.
Anybody seen Jack Roslovic?
And if anything, I thought that this was the other possibility with Kuznetsov, is that he was doing that in order to get a better deal from a KHL.
Maybe, and that's maybe what he did. Has anybody seen Jack Roslovic?
No, not yet. And it could be
right before game 1.
It could be a situation right now, Russ, where again he's in a position where he's just waiting for somebody to get hurt, to where he could sign. I mean, to me, Florida makes a lot of sense because they have the cap space with Barkov.
Right. But Florida, clearly, they're not doing it because they should have done it already. They're not doing it.
I mean, Vancouver was rumored to be interested in him, but now apparently they're going to keep 18-year-old Braden Coots. They're going to keep.
They're not going to keep Coots up.
I think Coots is probably
just giving him a little
run. He's Luchenko last year.
Yeah, they're giving him a little run.
He's Luchenko last year. He gets a look, a little taste, and then ends up back in junior. So that might be the thing where they're waiting to see how Coots looks, and then if they send him back, you might see Roslovic there.
Maybe.
I think I could see that happening. But again, it
could be
a few teams that could happen with.
He's going to have to sign a 1-year deal like he is.
I mean, that's the reality of the situation for him. And honestly, I think that's fine. I think I am not, just because he had 22 goals last year.
There's a reason. There's a reason why he fired his agent, because his agent bleeped him. I mean, if he had a 2-year deal on July 1st, I think it was around $3 million. I don't know what team, but that was a report out there. If that was there, he should have jumped at it because he signed a 1-year prove-it deal with Carolina, and he sat most of the time in the playoffs, but he scored 22 goals, and it's like, okay, jump at it. And they didn't, and now he's still unsigned.
Yeah, I'm not going to, as much as the chat room wants me to, I'm not going to announce every young player that has made the NHL roster. I'm not doing it.
No, but one thing we could discuss is certainly the Oilers again
getting Connor Ingram
for their goaltending.
Well, this is
Cole likes Connor Ingram as
the hilarious thing here is this was a no lose for Edmonton because he cleared waivers.
Yep.
And Utah got nothing in return, and they retained $800,000 on this just so he could be buried in Bakersfield. And if Stuart Skinner craps the bed, which that won't happen. Then they have a ready-made.
But he's a competent goalie. He's
a competent goalie. Again, it's what a good. I think I'm not going to have any sort of issues with this. I think this was a relatively good move.
It was a good move.
If you're not going the Carter Hart route,
right?
I felt this. If you needed to add another goaltender, they needed another goalie, and then if Ingram does a decent job in Bakersfield when he returns,
and
Oiler.
And we'll be talking about Carter Hart on Sunday, no doubt, when he gets signed and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, isn't the 15th?
No, it's the 15th, Russ.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was the 5th. Oh, okay, so we have
15th,
a few weeks there.
15th,
okay.
yeah. So
all right, so the
10 days on that.
Last thing, I did a show with the prospect Don, and he told me something interesting, and this is like an interesting note for pizza lovers. Oh. So I was kidding him before we got on air that how New York pizza is better than Chicago pizza. Chicago pizza, we know all the arguments.
It's a casserole, yes.
Yeah, but what he told me now is what's gaining a lot of traction in Chicago is Detroit pizza. So they're making Detroit pizza in Chicago, which I like Detroit pizza. I've had it. It's like a Sicilian. It's got an extra cheese or two that you're not used to. And it's good, man. It's crunchy. It's different. It's different.
Anthony,
but I like it better than deep dish. I do.
As paisans, the thing with Detroit pizza is it reminds me of that pizza that we used to get when we were in school at the cafeteria.
Oh no, it's better than
square pizza that basically you could slap up on the freaking roof.
That's not nice.
He thinks it's an Elio's pizza, Russ. That's what I think he thinks it is. You had those with fries, and literally you could stick the fries, and they would stand straight up. And
or it was a big deal, like in my school when we got the potato cake.
No, Detroit pizza, I think, is better than that.
Yeah,
I can't be too much of a pizza snob in this regard.
But I thought that was interesting. Like, what if all of a sudden there's this wave?
But it's the whole idea that Chicago, it's kind of like
Now that
not that anybody in Philadelphia complains about Pittsburghing their state.
I will tell you this: my brother lives in Chicago, and he has found a good thin crust pizza place there because he's from New York, and there are people in Chicago that will eat thin crust pizza too. So,
I prefer, honestly. I like it because I like thin crust pizza because I want the taste and not feel like I'm like a beached whale after eating it.
I mean, Randy's gonna have
you let the grease drip off of it.
Yeah. Randy's talking about Calgary pizza. He's gonna have to send pictures. I don't know what it looks like, but I will tell you, I had pizza in Windsor, and it was really good in Windsor.
Wasn't pizza? What is it? Was it pizza? Boston
no, it was a local pizza place in Windsor, and it wasn't a Detroit. It was more like a cross between a Detroit.
It was across the tunnel.
It was. And it was good. It was really good. Like I was, pleasantly surprised.
All right, Russ was pleasantly surprised by, and like it was like it still doesn't compare to New York pizza, but
Mike's basically saying it's Elio's pizza. So
I'm not going to go there with Mike. I know.
And I'm sorry, Buffalo pizza is great.
It's really good. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, I think Buffalo pizza is the same quality that I could get in Philly and like in
Philly pizza solid. I mean, it's Philly pizza.
That's what I would say.
You got to get a good. Again, you got to
find your place.
You got to find your place. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody finds their place for the certain thing that they like. Well, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it for Off the Post. We'll catch everybody next time.
Take care, everybody.